Unfortunately for this tag, I do not have a cowboy hat, but I do have a cowboy dress. It's a little rootin' tootin' cowboy. Hi, I'm Adriana, and this is the Rootin' Tootin' June on the Range book tag. So I saw a man with a hat who reads, do this tag, seemed like a lot of fun, so I'm now doing this tag. Seems like it's gonna be a good time. Before we jump into it, please consider liking and commenting on this video and subscribing to my channel if you like bookish things. Prompt number 1, a ways out west. Have you ever been to the American West? And initially I thought the easiest answer to this question is, have I not been to a state that is a part of the American West? And I think the only states that could really be considered a part of like the Old West or the Wild West that I have not spent any time in is the Dakotas, North Dakota and South Dakota. Otherwise, I live in Washington State, so I've been to all the surrounding states: Idaho, Montana, Wyoming, Colorado, New Mexico, Arizona, Utah, California, Nevada. I think that covers Oregon as well. I think that covers all of everything west of Texas. I've definitely been to, and Texas, but I don't really know if that's part of the West or not. Whatever. I've been to all of those states that are in the West. Question number 2, Dry Gulch. What is the smallest town you've ever been to? How big is your town? The smallest incorporated town I've been to with a post office is Yellow Pine, Idaho. It has, according to Wikipedia, a population of 235. That might be not correct anymore because the number that gets kind of thrown around by the locals there is there's like 60 year-round residents. So there might be some people who register Yellow Pine as their primary address but don't actually live there. I don't know, whatever. It's a super small town, but it does have a post office, so it is a town. I mean, I've been to some smaller towns, but I don't think they're technically incorporated, so that is what it is. Oh, and my town where I live is about 30,000 people, so not huge, but I guess it's small. It's small. Question number 3, this is a long one. Where the buffalo roam? Have you ever seen a buffalo? What's the largest hoofed animal you've ever seen? And do you have evidence of living near coyotes? Yes, I have seen a buffalo. My husband and I took a trip to Yellowstone right after we graduated college. So we saw many buffalo there. A buffalo was just standing in the road and keeping us from being able to go to our campsite because buffalo are very large. The largest hoofed animal you've seen, probably a buffalo, definitely a buffalo. They're huge. But a close second, at least in my mind, is we once almost got run into by a cow moose. She was running up the hill and we were driving on the road, that side hill, the hill, and we like felt the ground shaking inside the truck. Like that scene in Jurassic Park with the water where you can like see the ripples, except we felt that inside the truck as she was like running. So my husband slowed down and then we just see her shoot across the road. And I swear she was 10,000 pounds, but I mean, that's not realistic. She was probably like 1,500 pounds. Or I don't know how big moose get. She was big. She was really big. But I think a buffalo is still bigger, but they don't move as fast. So it's like, I guess I've never seen a buffalo charge. Maybe they move just as fast, but it was terrifying nonetheless. Do you have evidence of living near coyotes? Yes, I hear them from time to time, and then you tend to see them sleeping on the side of the interstate around here. So, oh, also one time I was dirt bike riding in the sand dunes, and we usually see coyotes when we're out dirt bike riding in the sand dunes. So yes, I've physically seen them with my eyeballs. Question number 4, old Doc Frye. What is your history with Westerns, novels, TV, and movies? Novels, I'm not a huge Western reader. I would like to get more into Westerns. My dad read me some Louis L'Amour while I was growing up, so that was definitely a large introduction into Western type novels for me. I love a Western setting. So I like a lot of, you know, books set in the Southwest or in like the Old West. I think that's a really fascinating time of American history. TV, I don't think I've ever really watched any like Western TV. Like I've never seen like Yellowstone, or I don't think I've ever watched a TV show about the West. Movies, I grew up on John Wayne movies. I love a spaghetti western every once in a while when I just kind of want to like turn my brain off and watch something just utterly ridiculous. What was the one we watched recently? I don't know. It had a ridiculously long name. You could tell that none of the actors were speaking the same language and it was just being like dubbed over. It was perfect. It was perfect. The plot made no sense. And it was great. I love a spaghetti western. Question number 5, Diamond Lil at the Rialto saloon. What is your relationship with alcohol? Ever had a friendship with a bartender? My relationship with alcohol is a lot different than it used to be. I was in a sorority at a state school, so at the time I didn't think I drank that much because I was drinking at frat parties and, you know, I was never drinking as much as the frat guys around me, so I thought I was good. And then I think back to how I was drinking, and I was like, that was a lot of binge drinking. Now, it's definitely much more casual. It's like, you know, a beer or two, and then when we're out camping, maybe a little cocktail.
There's always time for a cocktail.
But definitely not what it used to be. Ever had a friendship with a bartender? Not like specifically as a bartender, like I've known people who've like bartended, but I've never like frequented a bar enough that I really got to know all the people there and became friends with the servers or the bartender. Question number 6, the City Slicker from back east. What's the best Western you've read? Like I said, I haven't read a whole lot of Westerns, unfortunately, but like I'd mentioned, my dad used to read The Haunted Mesa to me by Louis L'Amour. I do remember enjoying that story. I think this counts as a Western, but Dragon Teeth by Michael Crichton. I mean, it takes place in the Wild West, and there's like a lot of Western themes, even though it's like a book about archaeology, which like I love, but I think it counts. I think it counts. I'm gonna go with that. Dragon Teeth by Michael Crichton. Question number 7, the man with the badge. Have you ever been in charge of other people? What's the most authority you've ever handled? Would you be good at it? I mean, I've never had like a direct report to me like at work or anything, but I've always been kind of in charge of projects. So whoever's like working on a project with me, it's kind of like my job to like direct them to what they're doing. So depending on like the job I have, when I was a project engineer, I was in charge of like contractors. When I was a continuous improvement person, I was in charge of individuals at our site to make sure they completed their projects. I haven't really been in charge of people, but I've had to like influence people to like get their job done. So I don't know how I would do with like absolute authority. It might go automatically to my head and I become a tyrannical nightmare. Who knows? But I would like to think that I would be okay in charge of other people. Who knows? Question number 8, the Tombstone Kid. Have you ever fired a gun, been a gun aficionado, been shot? I have fired a gun. I have fired many, many guns. A couple weeks ago, months ago, I don't even remember now. I had my dad on the channel and he used to compete pretty heavily in 3-gun competitions, pistol, rifle, shotgun. So we always had kind of guns growing up, not in the house, but like there were guns and we'd go out and shoot and all that kind of stuff. So I have shot many, many guns. As far as a gun aficionado, probably not. Like I can shoot a gun and I enjoy, you know, shooting some skeet or sporting clays or just going out and like target shooting every once in a while. But I'm not like super into like the gun itself. Like I don't really know like models. I generally know like the caliber of the gun I'm shooting. But yeah, I mean, I know how to use a gun. I know how to use it safely is the most important thing. Gun safety. Make sure you are fully aware of how to safely shoot a gun before you even look at a gun, please. And because of gun safety, I have never been shot. So yes, be safe if you're gonna shoot guns. It can be a really good time, but you must be safe, please. Question number 9, and ain't the bullet that gets you. How would you like to die? This is like kind of grim, but also like kind of enlightening, I guess. My dad had a family friend who passed away close to the age of 80 not too long ago on a solo hike up a mountain. And not that that's specifically the way I want to go, but he was like a huge mountaineer throughout his entire life. He summited Everest, did all the stuff. So, I mean, to die doing something you know, really enjoy and brings joy into your life, I think would be cool. For me personally, probably a mess for the people around you. Like, thinking of the things I like to do, dirt bike riding, skiing, kind of things involve you on like a mountain with like very low cell service, so like getting you out of there is probably kind of a nightmare. But I mean, I'd rather go happy than like sad and alone. Question number 10, tag people. I'm gonna go with some more of my West Coast girlies. So I will tag Ruby Red, Kayla Ray Reeds, and Noelle 7 Pages. Should be a rootin' tootin' good time. So thanks so much for watching, and I will catch you on the next video.